Greetings and welcome to another Tavern Talk. My name's Artenen.
This is Ronan.
And we are going to be talking about the changes we've made in 2014.
Which is a lot.
Oh, like, blow your mind. Lots.
But they're all for the better.
Yes. And they will make the games for the rest of these days so much better.
Until we come up with the next rulebook.
No. So basically, let's just do a recap, shall we?
Okay.
We changed armor around. So it's global points yet, which is the same, but local hit.
Yes.
So if you don't have any armor on this section,
You still lose the arm.
Right. So it's very tactical,
Right.
more immersive.
You have to be a lot more strategic with your hit placement and where you're going to swing.
Right. So those who are really good at battling, guess what? You have an advantage.
That's right, and you'll be able to defend those areas that don't have armor on a lot. You need to think about defending those.
Right.
Magic.
See. Magic? Yeah.
Big one.
Whoa. Like, all the redundancy, yada yada crap, that's all gone.
Yeah, I'm still trying to fend off some of the people that try to burn down your keep.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we changed the magic system. We were talking about it as Chief Elders for 2015 for 5.0.
But you went to an event and found out that this current system was not working out the way we had planned.
Yeah, the first event we had a lot of new players, and it was like, what does this do? And
even the spellcasters couldn't tell them what their own spells would do.
Right. So it's like, guys, I got on the horn, on the scrolls, whatever, and I'm like, let's just make this happen. And they were like, no!
There was an uproar, but we questioned it.
Yeah, and they eventually voted for it, so we did it.
After the explaining,
Right,
the re-explaining.
lots of videos. We did videos of the new stuff, but
which more of those are still rolling out, I believe.
yep. Well, yeah, we're up to Arcane. We're through Arcane, so all the general magic, all the Arcane, all the basic stuff is all done, and it's all on the site now. And then we'll do the rest of the magics after that. So we're going to do a tutorial on each spell, what it does, how to role play it, explanations, questions. We answer them in the video.
But a lot of them are, I hate to say it, they're the same spell, just with different element.
They were.
No, they are.
Well, not so much anymore. Hold on.
No. I mean, you have lesser. You can go lesser fire damage, lesser arcane damage, lesser water damage.
Not the waters, but the I mean,
all of your lesser, greater, mortal, and death. They're all the same. They just have different elements.
Right. So if you spec in a specific element, you can use those general magics and just call your element.
Right. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I just went the long way.
Right. I shortcutted right into that one.
But we did retain specific elemental spells. We cut those down a lot. We took out a lot of the redundancies. Like if you have a spell that does one thing in water and we had another spell in shadow magic that did the exact same thing, we just nixed one of them.
Right. And we kept the spells that people had that were really popular. And those who didn't have stuff, we blew them away because players were telling us nobody was getting them, so let's take it away. We went from over 50, 75, something like that spells to 27. 27 spells. So magic is way easier.
It's much more streamlined.
So, just wow. And the tutorials are awesome. So, it explains it. The elders are there to help you. If you have any questions after you watch the videos, post it. We're there to help.
Right.
Okay. New systems coming up.
Well, we've yet to really knuckle down and work on it, but the Risen system.
He's being kind.
We haven't done much at all.
There's a lot.
We've done a lot to it, but it's
not
still
concrete.
Right.
It's just we got to play it, play test it, vote on it,
try it.
But we're getting pretty close to where we can do that. So
right.
the system's in place, the tracking system's in place, the skills training center's there. We just got to turn on the currency, turn on the skills once we finish them, and boom.
Right.
That'll be a lot faster than the Myths and Legends because we got the
like
mechanics
80% of the work already done.
The mechanics are done, and that was where everything was holding up because Myths and Legends was like the. It was the.
I don't want to say the test.
It was the problem child.
Right.
That you had to figure out before you did the other systems.
Right, because the other systems are going to be based on the core mechanics of the Myth and Legend system, too.
Right. This Tavern Talk is sponsored by Montoya. Hey, hi Montoya. Yes, hello.
Ow, my leg!
The LARPing dog. The LARPing dog. He's always around. Anyway, okay. Back to this wonderful episode.
That's it.
So, the new system's coming out. We're taking the stuff on the scrolls, which there's a lot, and we're finding the best stuff that people need, and putting them on the main. He needs loving.
I love you.
Putting it on the main site.
Right.
So LarpCraft.com now has. There's a beginner section for players,
Which people should actually check out. That way we don't get flooded with a lot of unnecessary questions that are answered for you.
and a how to start a colony section. I did that today.
You did that today?
Yeah, that's all done now. So all the stuff we had for the colony, it's all in one section, all in one page, all in one place.
I want to say I love you, but that might be going too far.
Probably.
Okay.
I'd probably punch you in the face. Sweet.
Monty.
Let's see. We have a store now. LarpCraft has its own store. It's not on Live Action Products or anywhere else. LarpCraft has its own store. That means we're going to be able to do the colony recharge kits. We'll do the player add-ons, all the memberships, and
The legendaries and the epics.
And the name of the gods and the preferred profile. That stuff you may not have heard yet. So check it out. It's on the LarpCraft.com main page. And what's really cool is now we can sell. We'll have the Calamassal and the
Wicked Replicas? Are they going to be on
we can, but
there? This stuff is a little too. Yeah, it's too iffy.
Yeah, some of the stuff's okay. Some of it is. I don't know. If a manufacturer doesn't cleanly get most of their products through our safety checks, we don't want to sell them.
Right.
So
yeah, I can see that.
We're doing the giveaway for the legendary memberships for the wall hanger for the awesome the Feely. Yep.
Ooh.
And so legendaries.
I might have to enter that.
Yeah, legendaries get that. There's a giveaway section, so you can take a look at that.
I'm not going to win.
But we gave away one of the epic swords last week for the February giveaway. This is for the March. And then we'll continually just give away the stuff they gave us to try out.
Wait, you mean we're giving stuff away?
Yes.
We've gone crazy.
Mad. But the, it's really to,
Promote,
boast awareness, do the reviews. When people want to know about something, we do a review on it and
right. And if you have ideas for reviews, if you have
post them.
Just post them. We'll do our best to look it up, and you'll see me up there and go. And I'll try to make something random crap up to describe the weapon.
And I'll be like, no, do it again. You'll be like, and then
I'll throw
what you don't see is he kicks my butt at the end and just.
Well, maybe in the blooper reel.
That stuff I don't even put in the blooper reel because we
Nothing
swear a lot.
Ooh.
So that doesn't go in the blooper reel. But this is a family episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. iTunes doesn't get the explicit. I don't touch that button because
Now that brings you into a whole nother category.
Yeah, I don't want to touch it. But so LarpCast.
LarpCast.
That's on there now too. So our blogs, our video feeds, all the stuff that iTunes needs, because iTunes, Apple and Google, they're so LarpCast is the iTunes version of YouTube for us, But it also has a lot more features because it allows you to have the blogs.
Mm-hmm.
So like Greycore, he's having his own blog. Echo, she's having her own blog. We have our Tavern Talk, which is this show that's going to be on there.
Mm-hmm.
Kyler and the Bastards, they're going to have their own Tavern Talk, but it's only going to be audio. That's their audio cast called The Bastards. Clever name. And because that's that's the name of their faction. And there's going to be a lot of, but it's all pretty much LarpCraft. I mean, everything in the blog is LarpCraft.
It has to deal with LarpCraft.
Right. We're not allowing a lot of other LARPer stuff in there just because we don't want to compete against the other folks who are doing news for LARP. That's their own thing. We don't want to compete with that.
We don't want to confuse people either.
Right. And there's so much stuff happening in our systems that we need our own news media outlet just to do it. I mean, literally, we could do a 6 o'clock news, like nearly every day.
Almost.
The stuff that's happening on the scrolls, the players that are coming in, the transfers, the colonies, I mean, literally we could.
News at 11. I'm not doing weather.
You're the host.
Damn. Yes. All right, I'll do it.
All right. Yes, you will. But the Risen is going to be, fantastic. And we came across the colony problem, which I don't know that you saw because you were working a lot.
Yes. Please tell.
Colonies are like, well, what should we do? Do we do Risen? Do we have to do Risen if we do Myths and Legends?
No.
We came up with a system here like this. If a colony wants to do another game set, instead of having a bunch of colonies in the same area doing the same stuff, or different game sets, but they're still in LarpCraft, we still have the protected colony area. All right? So colonies have their own protected area. Nobody else can do games in those colony areas. But if they want to do a different game set, they have to have a chief for those game sets to manage it. So like if I'm the chief in Inland Waters for Myths and Legends, you'd be the chief for Risen. So you'd schedule the Risen games.
I thought that was the way it was originally.
Yeah, but it had to go through all the colonies.
Oh, so what you're saying is the same person cannot be the responsible party. So the person in charge of this particular game set is also in charge of the actual running of the games.
Yes. Okay. For that game set, yes.
For that game set, okay. But they can be held at the same location.
Oh, yes.
We're not saying that you have to find a specific different place to have. If you're going to run a Risen game and you're already in the Myth and Legends system, and you want to run a Risen game, you do not have to go find a completely new place to run that system.
In fact, we even encourage the names to be the same. Just the lore's going to be different. That way the map doesn't get all funky. Because if you go to LARP map, which is now on the main page, and colonies get their own page now under the map.
That's going to help a lot.
That is, because then you can go to the colony page and be like, oh, this colony does these game sets.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's the link to each of their game sets and each of their respective tracking systems. Okay, no problem. And then we'll embed the calendar and all this stuff. So, and if they have their own website, which many of them do, we'll link it right there too. And their social media, Book of Faces, and all that crap is all going to be in that one page. So
if you're ever wondering what we do for the colonies and the people, this is just a small segment of all the stuff that you get when you create a colony.
Right. And we also have tutorials, I was filming those earlier, on like going through step by step of how to set up a colony correctly, how we help you with your advertising, marketing. We'll even set it all up for you. We'll set up your calendars, your social media. We'll do all that stuff for you if you don't feel comfortable doing it, or we'll just post it in when you do it. So there's guides. So you're not reinventing the wheel. This isn't a strange, new, unusual world. We've been doing this for a lot of years, and so have others, and we've learned from all this stuff, and we posted it in the colony section.
Right. I mean, I'm thinking, let's say somebody, they watch one of our videos and they go, man, this is awesome, or they like, oh, cool. And they're like, yeah, I don't want to hit people with sticks.
Yeah.
And they're like, I have absolutely no idea what a promoter is. I have no idea
what is a colony?
What's a colony? How do I get started in this? And how do I send my message out to the people, to get them to come to my games? We take care of that for you.
Right.
Well, we take care of a majority of it for you.
Right, or we post guides. So, I mean, there's some that come in and like, I want to do everything. Okay, here's the guide, do it, have fun. There's some that will be like, I don't want to do any of this crap. I just want to host games and hit people with sticks.
Right.
Okay, we'll do that too.
For you. Yeah.
Whatever works. So that's the way LarpCraft works, and you choose the game set. So if you start with Myths and Legends and you have half the players that are like, oh, I'd really rather do Risen. Mm-hmm. Okay, set up a chief, and play Risen. But like the chiefs all have to work together in a colony so that they still don't host games at the same time at the same location. I mean, that'd be weird.
Yeah.
So
bunch of zombies running at you with guns, and you've got swords and armor on.
What?
Time out.
So, we try to give as many resources as we can, and do what we can to make this thing as simplistic as possible, but offer as many options as we can. Because players, we've been playing the Myths and Legends system for many, many years, and we're ready, even in our own colony, to it's time to do the Risen. It's time to do something different. Mm-hmm. We're still primarily going to be Myths and Legends, mm-hmm. but we're going to play a few Risen games and see if we can attract a different type of gamer. People who wouldn't normally do this as a medieval stuff.
Right. Medieval high fantasy, yeah.
Yeah. They want to do more
zombie apocalypse, or they want to do more like sci-fi or something along those lines. Well, getting back to what you were saying, the different systems we're rolling out with. We're rolling out with the Risen. Mm-hmm. That's going to be pretty soon.
I'm probably thinking Galactic is going to be next, because that's got the second highest request rate.
Okay.
So that's like Star Trek meets Star Wars. And it's got all this cool, very space-oriented lore and abilities.
Right.
Races are... Whoa.
Right. You may even... the way I kind of see it coming out, if you go to different realms or different... And maybe in the galactic system it'll be called worlds, but you may be going to, let's say you go into a different planet or something.
Right. You got like away missions.
Right.
You'll go to villages that are like... I don't want to say anything that's copyright, so... You
may go to some that are like Stone Age. These people haven't got out of the Bronze Age yet, or something like that. Then you may go to some that are like towering cities.
Right. With just a ridiculous amount of technology and
wealth and everything. Right.
So yeah, and then we got the Wild West, which is like Wild West steampunk, American frontier, shoot 'em up, bang 'em up, but with steampunk in it. Really cool.
Right.
And then the Genesis, which is like Doctor Who, meets like the Time Traveler. There's lots of different ways a colony can spin those stories, and we create the groundwork and the tracking system, and then the colonies create the lore, the environment, depending on what locations they have available to them.
Right. They take the basics, and the colonies build on it.
Right. So we and if you look at Myths and you've been with us a while, you know that that's how we work, where we don't specify down to the very last oomph of something that, this hair has to be this way and this creature has this lore specifically. Okay, no. We define the race, but where does your part of the race come from? Where does your part of the class, things originate from different areas.
Right.
That's all based on your lore.
Right, and that comes to a big thing that we talked about a while ago. Everybody, when we have the Paladin is a class in our system, and everybody's like, all right, well, I'm the Paladin, I'm the knight in shining armor, I'm the holy, better than you, stick up my rear end kind of guy. No, you don't have to play it like that. Right. In our system, we say, the Paladin is this and has this abilities. You don't have to play it like that. You want to be an evil Paladin? Go right ahead. You want to be
You can pick an element
Right.
and run with it.
Right.
So you can do it by your lore.
You could be a paladin that uses shadow magic.
Right. Which is weird. Some of you are like, what? That's weird. It's really based off your lore.
Right.
So how you develop a character may not jive with the traditional paladin or cleric or druid or mage even.
Right.
So the cross-classing abilities with LarpCraft allows you to build the lore and the character the way you want. So it's just more diverse than anything else.
That's why, yeah, we give the people, or the players, the freedom.
Power to the people.
The freedom to create the worlds that they want to play in.
Right, right.
All we ask is you use the
Just
rules
lose the rule set that's out there, because that's kind of like, oh, we give them all this freedom, but then they're like, well, let's create all these different things. I'm like, it's still balanced the way it's created, but it's left very open for you to do everything else. Just use the core mechanics. Please, stay in the core mechanics.
Right, and a lot of people...
Everything else is designed to go outside the box.
Right, and a lot of people look at, LarpCraft and they say, well, there's no set lore of how this happened and how the world came to being. Well, we put a little bit of something in there, but we didn't want to limit people.
Right. There's a very basic timeline and world lore that Ronan and Ufnar helped a little bit, and some others, and I pretty much just ate popcorn and be like, these are good guys. Let's do that.
Yeah, that's what it was.
But
Pop-Tarts, too.
Pop-Tarts. But the basic outline is very sparse, so you can shoot off of it and start your own lore off of it.
Right.
But it was just a basic backbone.
We want to give people something to look at and go, okay, I can go from here. We didn't want to spell everything out for people like some other systems do.
Right, right. But it gives you, we didn't have enough in there, so people didn't even know where to start. So we gave them a starting point.
Right.
And that's where it goes. So, gosh, great. Now where do we go? I don't know. What do we do now? Let's talk about something else.
Okay. You said some of the... We were started off with the changes.
I think we pretty much went through all of them. I mean, the magic and the armor was the big ones.
Right.
We added some different abilities.
We added a new class. Have
Sure
we talked
did.
about that?
Not really.
We haven't really talked about that.
Well, we talked about it in previous episodes, but not really like all together.
We don't need to because it's on the...
Yeah, well, Witch Doctor. If there was a class designed in 4.0 for 4.0 and beyond, it's Witch Doctor. And you can tell when you read it. It's very detailed. It's very specific. It's very powerful. It's very limited in some areas.
But they also have their own set of...
It's different.
I don't want to say magic. Well, it is magic.
Yeah, it's an elemental force. I can't use the other words because you get mad when I say other life forces. Don't say that word because he just doesn't compute with Ronan. It's like, you can't bridge the gap. It's like, life force is over here. Witch Doctor's over here. It's like, don't cross the streams.
Now, there's a stream running through my head, obviously.
Apparently. But, yeah, it's
a very unique class.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically, we wanted something in there so people can play the tribal shaman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was something different that wasn't in there.
And we didn't want to call it the shaman class because that can be mistaken as like a cleric, kind of as a shaman for tribals. So we wanted to come up with something not completely different, but different enough.
Right, right.
Now you will notice if you do go into the rule system on LarpCraft website that they have their own specific spell list. They use mana, but they have their own specific set of curses, buffs, spells, things. I don't want to call them spells because they're not really spells.
Well, yeah, but they're abilities that use a life force. Well, they do. They use something. I mean, they pull stuff from things.
The essence.
Right.
We disagree on the wordage, but we're on the same page.
It uses something to do something. So, because it uses something, that something is limited.
So yes, their
God requirements are
quite high.
And they're unmistakable. You know what a Witch Doctor looks like.
That's right. You can't definitely point them out.
Right. So, yeah, Witch Doctor's awesome. Check it out. and it's very full. Like as a class, it's more full because we had a whole year to put it together. So it's definitely how we would strive to post other classes in the future, or fill out the ones we have. That's more so what we're trying to do. We're not trying to add a lot more. We're just trying to fill in all the gaps to what is already there. And that's 5.0.
Which is not going to be for a while.
Right. We say that now.
We're tired of doing rules.
Yeah. There's stuff already posted. It's going to happen. But
we want to play the
we
game.
want to play.
Guys, can we
I
play?
want to play. I don't want to do rulebooks anymore.
You only get stuck in registration for 4 days.
So
let's bring that up.
No. I have learned from the World Finals that I was stuck in registration for 4 days. And if it wasn't for these guys and Gordrax is like, you got to get out of here. Like now. Like, out.
No, what I was saying is, why don't we talk about how registration could go better? How do you think it should be done?
Folks, colonies have to delegate responsibilities to their elders. That's the core thing that I do horribly.
One or two people cannot do it.
We're like, we can do it. Let's make it happen, Ronan, because that's the way we're used to doing it.
In my head, I'm going, this aren't going to work. But for his sake, I'm like, okay.
And we do it, and it's like, oh, fail.
Much. Big.
So we're like, okay.
How do we fix this?
How do we fix this? And then we look at the other colonies like, they may be onto something.
Just might. It's called delegation of authority.
Right. So we did it the wrong way. We saw how it was been done the right way. And then our colony even started doing it where we're like, okay, elders, listen up. It's not just a title anymore.
Now
you got to do something.
Yeah.
How's that work? But just give them something. Elders want to do things. They want to help out. They want to be more than just players. And so we did it in our own colony. And boy, it has been glorious. Let me tell you. Folks have been taking over responsibilities. Guardians. Why don't we talk a little bit about that? So, colonies have their own colony vaults. Vaults.
I'm going to get it.
The vaults.
Attach it to you somewhere. Zap you.
And we wanted to give it where...
I need a taser.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, no. It would be hilarious. Like one.
This Tavern Talk brought to you by Rayovac.
The Guardians are the ones who run the Skills Training Center.
And they're doing a fantastic job.
It is no longer just myself and Ufnar and Ronan.
Occasionally.
Mainly it was Ufnar for a while there. And
we burned him out pretty good.
Yeah, he's done broke. He's done broke out now. So we've kind of kicked him out and be like, dude, run your games. New baby stuff. Go, just
you have
good.
Other responsibilities.
You're good. And the Guardians have come in now with 6 or 7 or 8, and basically they process all the skills.
Your skills.
And we pay them a monthly stipend in XP for helping out. It's not a lot, but helps pay the XP bills for your character because they're high, and they enjoy doing it. And they're answering questions and answering tickets, and elders are doing that too.
Catching mistakes.
And it's making a better system. So we're delegating responsibility, able to take on. We want to make it so, when there's not 3,000 profiles but 30,000 profiles, that we can still do the same quality that players are expecting, or better. So that's we're doing that. We put the system in place. It's called the Guardian. Guardians are the gatekeepers. They watch the scrolls. They process the skills. They don't have access to the skills like the XP vault or nothing, but they can do corrections. So
if they're the gatekeepers, who are the keymasters?
I think that'd be the overlords.
Okay.
And then there's the architect. And I don't have any clever lines from that scene from Matrix, which we were talking about, if you haven't caught on by now.
Moving on.
Moving along. Yeah, but boy.
They've taken a lot of the burden.
They have. And, asking the right questions and helping people out, and it seems like nobody sleeps anymore. I mean, the scrolls constantly have somebody on that can help players. So
they constantly have somebody on that's asking questions.
Well, we always had that.
Oh, yeah.
But now there's somebody who can actually answer them at that same hour, usually. So
instead of having to wait for one of us to get on the next day.
So yeah, we just wow. Game systems are going crazy. We're getting ready to launch the next ones.
At least one of them.
The mechanics are pretty well done now.
Mm-hmm.
Like how the games run. So if you waltz into a Risen game, but you're a Myths and Legends player, you can pretty much BS your way through the game because you know the mechanics.
Right.
You may not know the races or classes or lore, but you can pretty well understand how armor works, how weapons work,
how hits work,
and you're good. And that was a big accomplishment between all the game systems. Why the hell do you have all these game systems, LarpCraft?
Because we want to appeal to as many LARPers as possible.
Right. And that's what people don't get. Whereas a lot of other sanctioning bodies will be all about one type of game. That works for some stuff.
Yeah, that works for some people.
But
some people just aren't into that kind of thing.
The mass players really, they all have individual tastes. The colonies all want to write their own lore for all these other things, and it's not just about fantasy, medieval fantasy stuff.
No, and even with the medieval, high fantasy medieval. Okay, let's say you appeal to 30% of people. Now you take out of 1,000, you appeal to 30 people, or 30% of those. Now you take the zombie apocalypse system, you might appeal to 60%.
Right. Whereas you had, 8% turnout. But you didn't know you had 8% turnout because you didn't host the game that appealed to the other 92%. Okay, so now you hosted a Risen game. And your turnout was like, whoa! Like, mind-blowing. And it was because it was a whole different type of game set. It was a different type of gamer. It was a different type of LARPer. And, that's what people want. And so that's what we're trying to give everybody.
Right. Some people are going to be interested in Myth and Legends. Some people in Genesis. Some people are going to be interested in the Risen. And it's a good, diverse thing. Because even if, let's say, somebody comes to a Risen game and you tell them about the Myth and Legends system, they might actually think,
I'll check that out.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
Once they got the core mechanics and they're comfortable with it,
right?
Yeah, I'll try it. I can get a basic set of garb anywhere. So it's really amazing. Seeing how many people were getting into this community and how many people are responding on YouTube and on the Google Plus community and on Facebook and in the scrolls and gosh, we're just scratching the tip, of what live action roleplay as a recreation, as a sport, as a game, as a hobby, what it is capable of, because people do it, and there's tens of thousands of people who do it every weekend, and we don't know about most of them because they're not organized. They're not in a game system. They're just out there with friends,
hitting each other
with foam padded sticks, or
going on like a little adventure and
right, or doing quests
in the woods behind their house or something.
Right, or just camping out.
Right.
And
the thing is, most people have LARPed or done live action roleplay in their head. Mm-hmm. You saw that cool action movie, and you're like, "Wow, that was an amazing scene. What if he had done this? And what if he had done?" You're role playing.
Right. You're
doing it in your head, but you're role playing.
Right. You're thinking about it in your car when you're driving to work. You're doing it while you're supposed to be paying attention in class.
Which we don't recommend.
Right. you're living the fantasy already. Just make it live action. You know, you're reading in comic books.
It's not that big of a
seeing it
step
in movies, right? You're playing it in the tabletops. You're doing it.
You might feel, you might be like, oh man, if I go out there, I'm going to feel weird and stuff like that. And yeah, you might. But if you go to a LarpCraft game, we're there, or to any live action role-play game.
Go out there and have fun.
Go out there. Yeah, you might feel a little awkward at first, but people are there to help you, to make you feel more comfortable, and to actually let you experience the game itself.
I remember your first game.
Oh God.
I remember this. This is a good story. You came with a buddy, and you came from a tabletop store. Mm-hmm. We had a flyer out, and chances are, if you wouldn't have came with that buddy, you probably wouldn't have came.
I never would have heard about it. He's the one that told me about it.
So, in your first game, you had a red shirt on.
A red tank top.
Yeah. And you played your barbarian still.
Mm-hmm.
Which he's kept through all these years, he's done barbarian. And, watching him through like 8 hours of gameplay transform into this, I don't know what this is, to, I am a barbarian! Taking your shirt off and just like, raw!
And guess what Artenen's over here doing? Let me get the camera!
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to film this! But it's so cool watching people experience this, and then, like, I get it, I've taken a character, I've thought about it, I've played it now, and I brought it to life. Whoa! When they get it, when it clicks, it's like poetry in motion. You can't explain it in any other way.
When somebody finally gets into their character, yes.
Yeah, there's just, the sky's the limit. And you see it in their eyes when the sky's the limit. And you just, I'll hover around posts in the scrolls. I'm like, this, whatever's coming out of this character's forum after this is going to be awesome. Because the amount of gameplay that they represented, the stuff that happened in that game, I want to see their representation of what happened. And that's what the scrolls allow you to do. That's what the forums allow you to do. The tracking systems. You can post as your character. That's very unique. And it's not, well, you're metagaming. No. You're recording your session just like you would writing a scroll, rolling it up, and putting it into
a library
or whatever.
Anybody can go in and
half the stuff that's in there is like taller tales,
slightly exaggerated.
Right. But that's how the player experienced it as that character. And that's just amazing.
That's a first-hand account of what happened to them. No different than reading like a story that somebody wrote.
Right. So as we diverge from this
Tavern
talk of just we could just go on and on for hours and hours, and we do because you've watched it, and sadly some of it is not so fun, but a lot of it is just, we are gamers. We are live action role players. We are enjoying this sport, this recreation, this hobby. It has just shifted us and brought us together with just a fantastic family of gamers and role players. Some people don't like to be called gamers. Some people don't like to be called role players.
Or LARPers.
LARPer is such a...
But that's just the bad... That's just the negativity that other people that... the way I look at it, they don't have any fun, so they can't allow anybody else to have fun. They got to be all negative all the time.
Right. And we cast those people out. I mean, in the scrolls, if you're going to be a negative Nancy about stuff, you're out. Well, if you can't be positive about stuff, but
that doesn't mean that we don't. If people have gripes, legitimate gripes about stuff, we take them into account.
Right. But if you're just going to be hey, this is stupid and whatever,
completely down on everything, then
we ban you from the LarpCraft YouTube channel, any social media network. You're gone. They're just wanting to pick fun of the game. Well, great. I don't like volleyball, or I don't like golf, or I don't like any other hobby or recreation or whatever you do. I think it's stupid. Nobody has time for that stuff.
No.
Enjoy what you like to do. And if you're watching this, you like LARP, or you're interested in it.
Right. Enjoy what you like to do, but don't hate on other people for enjoying what they like.
Right. And you'll notice that in the thousands and thousands of posts, we don't pick fun of any other system. We make fun of some mechanics, but we don't actually
say that their system is junk. We don't say you play their system. You should come play ours because ours is better.
Right.
We don't say that. I mean, if that's what you like to do, we're in for the entire sport, the entire LARPing experience.
Right.
To us, it doesn't matter.
If you don't like LARP, or if you don't like the way we do games, that's okay. Just do whatever you want to do. Go play the full contact. Play the higher fantasy or lower immersion.
Rock, paper, scissors. If that's what you want to do, fine.
You know, just get out there and game. That's cool. Or enjoy the recreation. So we've preached that from the day that we started this, that we will not pick fun or pick apart any other system. And we ask for the same respect. And so far we've pretty much gotten it. I mean, we've worked with just about every other game system. Most of the colonies will work with other game systems, or some of them will even do like half LarpCraft, half the other system. I mean, we've been able to work very well with other game systems, and if you're going to just start bashing stuff, you're out, or you're going to delete the post, because it's not going to solve anything.
It's not helping.
Right.
It's not
going to bring more people into the game. It's not going to bring more people into the game.
Actually, you probably drive people away.
Right.
But that's
in our earlier videos, like your first LARPing video,
bushwhacking.
We got so many people that are like, "Oh, this is so dumb," and we look at it and we're like, "Yeah,
it was kind of dumb." But it was the first video.
We didn't have good cameras. We didn't know what LarpCraft.
We didn't even know what we were doing.
Right.
LarpCraft didn't exist.
It didn't exist. We were just a bunch of guys and gals playing out in the woods and having fun, and that's why we didn't blow away those videos, because that's still the core essence of what we're doing.
It's the core essence, but it also shows you how you can start, how it all starts.
You don't have to have all these fancy sets and cameras and games and hundreds of people.
You need a couple of friends and some foam noodle swords and a place to do it. That's all you need.
Right. And so, whether you're at square one or you're years and years into this thing, there's a place for everybody, and there's and LarpCraft tries to accommodate that with the different immersion levels, the different types of colonies. We understand that.
Not to change the subject, but
changing the subject.
But speaking of colonies, tell us a little bit more how colonies are formed.
Oh, boy, I'm glad you asked.
This Tavern Talk brought to you by Mike's Heart Limited.
By Keldor's Drinks from Last Deep Plate.
Thank you, Keldor. I'm finishing them off for you, so you don't have to.
I'll get you more, buddy. Don't worry.
Okay.
So, you just feel the passion, you feel the energy, and, you look at the portal box on the scrolls, and you watch when after a game, like on a Monday after a game, and people are just jazzed, they get it, and they had fun with it, and it's just, I live for those moments when you can see it through, the scrolls. LarpCraft is just charged with energy, full of gamers who are just ready and
doing it. Now tell us a little bit more how do colonies get started? Tell us about how colonies get started and how they are combined to make a realm or a region.
Okay. So originally we had us. And then we had, LarpCraft came about, and then we're like, we should do something like colonies or something. And we looked at American history, we looked at how the colonies got started and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's a good word. People get it, they have to read about it, they have to learn about it. Let's use colonies because people know what colonies are.
And let's take a step back. Realms are individual places inside a colony, right?
Yes.
I'm half right.
A third right.
Damn.
You say damn a lot in these videos. I'm marking PG-13.
It's not really a cuss word.
Well, yeah, it kind of is.
Mother... You want? If you want to go right to R, we can do that.
My son will watch these someday. Yes, a broken piece of steel. The
Your house is haunted, man.
it is.
Okay.
The realms are the overnight game location, so it's a place that may host a day game, but is capable of doing overnight multi-day games.
Oh, that's right.
That is a realm.
Wilderness.
What is an outpost?
An outpost is a location that can have day games, but does not have overnight games.
Right. And what is a battleground per se?
Battleground can be anything as simple as your backyard. Anything where you can host a practice event, crafting session. Usually they are just a few hours, or they could be up to a full day event.
So riddle me this. What the heck is a wilderness game?
The wilderness game is, if I remember correctly, and I'm not saying I do, wilderness game is you get 2 or 3 of your buddies together and you go out there for combat practice.
Or any practice. Or anything.
Crafting
You don't need a colony to do a wilderness game. You don't need elders, actually. You just need, in order to get the XP for the wilderness game, which is 300 XP max, no coin, you have to have the online waiver signed. That's the only requirement. So
That's really easy to do.
it is. You want to try the system out? Do a wilderness game or two. See if it works. You don't have to do the whole colony thing or get the elders done or any of that stuff. You know, try a wilderness game.
That's all you gotta do.
That's all you gotta do. So we have the systems in place. Literally, you can start at 0, nowhere.
And then move yourself
And
up
move yourself up.
to a wilderness event. Then you can move up. You find a place where you can have a whole day event, like a park or a state recreation area, something, just
Something.
Then you can move up to an outpost. And then if you find a place where your mom, your dad, your relative, your cousins, uncles, brothers, cousins, nephew, twice removed, which makes you and them completely nothing. Give my reference. Did you?
Oh, I just got dissed.
Hmm?
Did I get dissed?
No.
You made me completely nothing.
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.
It's just sad. Sad.
Moving on. Yeah, you can if you find a place.
But you can do it at like campgrounds, and there's places where you can actually rent out like Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. They have like these themed parks that you can actually rent out, and usually it's not terribly expensive. Some of them are really expensive, but some are really not expensive. And when you do like a colony and stuff, we can provide you with the insurance and the legal team and all that stuff that you need. Like when a landowner says, you need this, we can be like, we can provide that. And it happens.
And typically, when you're in like a wilderness event, your immersion level is going to be low level immersion.
Right.
And then as you progress, your immersion level should progress
Eventually get
up
better.
to the high level immersion.
Right. So it's just a few buds smacking each other with some foam noodle pad stuff. Okay.
Wilderness.
But after, you've been doing it for a few times, or, wow, let's get into this thing. Go to the Renaissance Fair, you pick up some garb, you get some people making some stuff, you make some stuff yourself.
Or go online or go to live action products.
Right. I mean, there's just a ton of stuff that you can get. Pick up some garb. Now you have moved into
a medium level.
Medium immersion. So like, your outpost games and such that are doing, you started at light immersion, now we're like, well, maybe we shouldn't allow the duct tape weapons anymore, or let's discourage it a little bit. Then you're into medium, and now it's like, okay, now let's
really kick this thing up.
Let's really kick this thing up, and full immersion, which is called traditional immersion, and now you got everybody in costumes and theatrical weapons, and now you can't, you look around, it's like, I'm really here, I'm like in a set.
And I'll say one of the things that it's not necessarily the garb, it's not necessarily the weapons, but one of the biggest thing, I'm getting a little off topic here, but
this whole Tavern talk is off topic.
Okay, there is no topic. This is all random out of our rear ends. One of the biggest things for me that kills immersion is the talk about modern stuff not being in character.
Right.
You can have the best props. You could have all like real looking weapons. You could have the best garb. But if nobody is in character and nobody's staying in character and it's all flying off the, I'm this, and then suddenly somebody else walks up, hey, how you doing, Bob? How was work? How's your Chevy running? It just
like,
totally destroys
ring.
it.
Hi.
Yeah, that's
I'm going to be home later.
Right. Take care of that stuff beforehand. Especially the cell phones.
Oh.
Man, that
Dude,
just
that
kills
just ruins it. Like every time. And then a lot of us who are veterans in the game, we will play that out and like chastise that person for a good 10 minutes of like, you have a magic portal box. You must be deemed with witchery. Or we'll make up something that will probably
tie him to a tree.
Right. It'll be negative to them somehow, but in a light, humorous way. And we just, and most of our gamers in inland waters, Keldor juice, brought to you by the gods of Keldor, because
Keldor is a god.
Yes, in some.
We squeezed Keldor specifically for that juice.
That's gross.
And he screamed a lot.
He did. He didn't like it. But the I asked him to come tonight, and he's like, "It's a work. It's not a weekend." So he did. He gets up really early, so it's like
okay.
Yeah.
Immersion. Immersion. Stay in character.
And we're trying to do what we can in inland waters. Even still, we're still considered medium.
Right.
Our tents, our garb's good. Our weapons are getting pretty darn good. But our dwellings and our props,
it's the cost.
It's really, really tough. But we're doing a lot of research on how to build authentic stuff. And like, even pick up that canvas right there. Go ahead, pick it up.
This?
Yeah. So I mean, like, we're dyeing our own canvases now, and we're...
You did this in the washing machine, didn't you?
I did. My wife didn't kill me. It's amazing.
It actually turned out pretty good.
It did, and it kind of matches the Inland Waters or the Iron Ring stuff.
It's
a little light. Yeah, I know, but it was my first attempt.
More dye.
Yeah, I know. But how do you turn a modern structure into something that's playable in the medieval fantasy setting? That we're doing that. We're experimenting with how to do it and doing it without spending a ton of dough. We've done it the wrong way.
Ah, yes.
And we've built
spray painted tents.
And we've built shacks, modular shacks
out of a lot of wood that we can't do anything with
because they're so freaking heavy. You can't get anywhere. God. And that one shack was like $1,200 worth of wood.
$1,200. And how much does it weigh? At least like 600 800
We had to
pounds?
cut it in sections so that 2 people could do it because that first game we took it to was like 7 people needed to carry a section each wall.
Yeah.
And it was only like a 10-foot wall. It wasn't like super
big,
huge.
but it was so
wood.
heavy.
I mean, it was framed like a building. So, whoa, don't do that.
If you want to do that, make sure you have a place to put it and leave it.
If it's permanent structure, sure, or semi-permanent without a foundation, yeah, okay, we can help you there. But for like easy ups, we've even experimented with the right easy ups. Like there's the Charlie Cheapy $99 easy up. Mm-hmm. First good wind gust, gone, or it's gonna freaking buckle. Then there's the semi-good easy up with better structure that holds up pretty good, but
then Odin has the one with the
with the surround, but it's still the framing on that is still the cheaper one.
Aluminum, yeah.
So good wind, it's gone. And then like at Aladon we had those aluminum pipe ones that were like homemade easy up structures. They were bigger.
Ooh, yeah.
But you could literally hang off the sides. I mean, they were like, that frame isn't going anywhere.
It's not twisting. But anything with a canopy on it like that, a good strong wind is a freaking...
If you don't anchor it,
it's an umbrella, it'll leave.
Right, but, so I mean, there's good, there's really bad, and there's, like, excellent. So, we're trying to do what we can to show, LARPers and colonies how to build these different things. And when you use different materials, what's the pros and cons of it?
Time. Okay, so,
at the end of the day, we just want to be able to create the best games with the most immersion. And that, that's props, that's costumes, that's makeup, that's
weapons,
that's
NPCs.
Yeah,
even.
How do you do your quests? How do you do your NPCs? There's so many different sciences to this recreation, this game, this sport, whatever you want to call it. And you can call it all. Every aspect, every different type of live action role play is called something different because it's literally a backbone on a different type of thing. So, full-on contact sport, okay. No contact at all, role play, okay, game. And then we just kind of deem it. I'm trying to coin it as recreation, because whether it's full-on game or it's total sport and no immersion, it's still a recreation. You're doing it as a pastime.
Right.
And so that defines recreation. So there's hikers, there's bikers, there's motorsports, there's other stuff.
Water skiers.
Water ski, that's still, sailing, and that's all recreation, and live action roleplay falls into that.
Weekend football players, basketball players, guys that go to the gym to work out. It's all recreation.
Right. Fishing.
Fishing.
But, mountain biking.
Hockey players.
Right. It's all recreation, and live action roleplay is just part of that. And those of you who have played medium immersion or,
Whack-a-stick.
Right. You do quests, you have big realms or locations. This isn't just some tabletop sit around and eat Funyuns in your parents' basement drinking the Mountain Dew. It's not that. This is in your face, heart pumping, gut wrenching, live action role play. And
yeah.
It is all on its own. It's different than any other game you've ever played.
Like you said, I came from playing the tabletop game, with the pen and the paper and the dice and everything like that. And I came to my first event and I was like, wow, I can... Because when you're playing on the table, you're talking and like your character, and how would your character react to this, and then you have to go and you're thinking, how would he do it, and then you say it, and then when you go to a LARP event, it's like, I'm actually doing it.
Right.
And to me, that was a lot more fun.
And I came from the total opposite side. I'm doing motorsports and racing and road racing, and I'm not a gamer. I don't consider myself even a video gamer. But I needed something more than just sitting behind some handlebars or some steering wheels. I needed something more than that, It wasn't fulfilling enough just to be sitting somewhere or letting an engine do the work. It's like I wanted to be part of something bigger than that. And so I got into role play. I'm like, dude, you have so much flexibility, but you're jumping over stuff. You are the action. And
you are the actor.
You are. Well, yeah. Well, I'm not really an actor, though.
Yes, yes, we are.
Wow.
Every time we go out into a realm and portray our characters, we are acting.
I don't know. Sure. I'm not an actor.
They didn't say it was good acting.
I'm not really good at scripts and stuff. Actors have to really know that stuff. We're improv. That's improv. Yeah. And dude, it's just wow.
Okay, NPCs are actors.
Well,
more so.
We still get. They still get here's what you got to do, but still, they still
make it your own.
They have to make it their own. So there's really good NPCs and there's really bad NPCs. And that's why we ask NPCs a lot of times. Originally, remember, it was like, oh, maybe you should play an NPC first. Well,
yeah, yeah, if it's like a mindless undead.
Right.
Just
cannon fodder.
Yeah, go ahead. But if you actually have...
If you have a plot or you have a story you have to know...
Lines.
Right. Well, I don't know. We never really gave them any lines. Maybe a quote.
Well, no, unless they can... Basically, we told them that if whatever they say, roll with it. If you can roll with the punches, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, how does one start a colony, or does one get into a colony?
You go onto the LarpCraft store, you fill out the questionnaire, pay your dues, and you're in. You start. That's how you go.
Okay.
Pick a game set, pick a lore, pick some stuff, and then we process it. We do your background check, and now we're actually getting into where we're contacting you. We're doing a live meeting with you over Skype or TeamSpeak or phone or whatever, Zoom, and we try to get a good understanding of where you want to go with this. And most people are just like, hey, I want to try it. Okay, that's great. But some people are like, we've been running games for 20 plus years and we like your system, or you're more easily adaptive, or you don't have all the political BS that's around other systems. And we're like, okay, that's cool too.
You're much more simple than other systems. You don't have all the massive counting, and you don't have the little nuances and other stuff that you have to memorize, or else the whole system falls apart.
Right. So, I mean, whatever the story is, we're able to accommodate new colonies as long as there's not a colony already in place. And if there's somebody already there, we refund you, and we just, if you didn't see it on the map, which it's there.
Right there.
On LarpCraft. And, we basically just say, if there's a colony there, here's the contact information, get a hold of them, enjoy. And maybe you can become a chief in a system that maybe they don't chief, or become an elder, become part of the crew if you really want to be more of a managerial type. And
that brings up a question that I've been pondering for
many
a
moments.
while. Yes. Let's say you want to start your own realm.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't...
Realm or colony?
Colony.
Okay.
Let's say you want to start your own colony.
Okay.
Now, there's another colony very close to you, and they're running games.
Okay.
But you don't like the way that they particularly run their games.
Mm-hmm.
How could you start your own without having to go to theirs?
Mm-hmm. That is always the consideration running in the back of all of our heads. If a colony is being run poorly or not run at all, we put into position a requirement that colonies have to host a game every 3 months, or activity, or lore session, just something basic. It doesn't have to be a full-on
Crafting
game.
session.
Right.
Get together, write a lore session.
Right. You can be on TeamSpeak for all whatever.
Just submit something.
Just something to get players going. If you don't do that within 3 months, it goes inactive, you fall off the map, and that area is able to be claimed by some other colony. Now let's say it's a really active colony, and then another colony wants to come in. Well, if you can't come to terms, we'll try to do what we can to mediate between the two colonies that want to host stuff, but the colony who's already in has this, right, they were here first. And so if they can't figure out a way, and most colonies are really good about working with each other and trying to make something happen, but there's just some instances like Norhaven. We have a lot of colonies in a very small area, and Norhaven isn't very large. I mean, we can all travel to each other's games within
about 2 hours.
2 hours,
2 to 3 hours.
So, and we have another couple of colonies south of us in Illinois, and I brought it up. I'm like, do you want to become part of Norhaven or not? And I didn't have the right answer, and I said that. I'm just creating an open dialogue between all the chiefs. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. And they said, no, we get it. That we're Wisconsin, they're Northern Illinois, Chicago. They have their own set of people. I'm like, okay, I just want to make sure that you don't want to be part of something, and that's cool. Just the communication was the big key. So if they can't work something out, then the new colony can't exist.
No, what I'm saying is not necessarily that the original colony is running their games poorly,
Right.
but the person is just like, I think I can.
I want to be a leader too.
Not that I want to be a leader too, but I went to this event at this colony, and in my opinion, it could have been done a little bit different. It could have been done a little bit better. It could have been done in a seemingly different way, and I think that if I were to create a colony, I could do things in a different way, and maybe it would be better for them, for that person. Not necessarily saying that the original colony was bad, or that people showed up and went, "Hey, this is what we're doing. Everybody's sitting around a fire and we're eating beans."
I like beans.
I don't. I don't like what they do to you. But that's what I'm getting at. Would that second person have to form a colony way far away from the original one?
There would be no way to impede on a colony that already has literally the franchise. They have the LarpCraft name. If they can't work together, and us as the LarpCraft administrators, we try to make sure that the colonies can work together. There's going to be times where there's confrontation. And we try to mediate that as best as we can. If it's two colonies who have been in it and now they're getting into a battle, he said, she said kind of stuff, we have to step in and see what we have to do. We haven't had to actually do that yet.
No.
But the more colonies we take on, we're represented in 7 countries now, and the more colonies we have on, the greater chance that that's going to happen eventually. But we try to do things in a civil, in a voting, democratic style if we can help it. So, but like if you and I were in the same colony, but you said, "Oh, Artenen, he runs games like yeah," you'd be like, "Yeah, you could do so much better." But if we can't agree on anything, LarpCraft has to take the stance of who was there first. But that's not only it.
No, I would say we also need to take into consideration, we'd ask the players of that realm.
We'd have to see their performance first. Because if they're like, "We do the best darn games ever," but they only host like 2 events a whole year, that tells me that they're probably not true. Or they only have like 12 players, or 2 players, or 7 players.
Something.
Then we're not going to really take sides with the first person who was there. But if they are doing good games, and they have a lot of good, they got players, they got a good player base.
What you're saying is we'll check into it.
We will.
We won't just take somebody's word for something. We'll on something like that. We'll definitely delve a little deeper and check in to make sure that what they're saying is true or proven false or...
Right. And just because the issue came up tells me that something has already failed. If like a colony, a master chief and a chief are fighting now, what happened? Was it inside of LarpCraft? Was it outside of LarpCraft? Was it game related? Was it person related? Those are things we have to really look at. So, and that's happened. Unfortunately, that's happened. And we've had to deal with that. And we go to the chiefs. We ask, "Hey, what's going on? What's going on with your elders? What's going on with your players?" And, yeah, but, no, I don't say much.
Anyway,
it's a private matter.
Yeah.
But if there's going to be something where the players are at risk, we're going to take a look at it. And if we need to consult our attorneys and we need to look at stuff, we will. And that's why those protections are put in place. But 99.999% of the time,
It's not really
okay,
an
we've
issue.
had one issue.
Right.
That's it. So
One issue out of how many games?
thousands of games, lots of colonies. I mean, it's going to happen, and we had protocol set up when it happens. We just took the necessary steps, and we continue to take the steps we need to take. But if something goes awry in a game system from a colony standpoint, it's going to put a rift between the colony the people who run the colony and the players. So if we can't remedy that, something has to happen, something has to change, and that's when LarpCraft gets involved. Most of the time, it's easily remedied, or something happens where we recommend something, or they do something, the colony itself. So it usually works itself out. But there are some things that outside of LarpCraft we cannot control, and nor do we want to control.
No, we don't want to be part of.
Right. So, life is life.
What you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
And now, on to our next embarrassing moment.
That was a cake.
Did you just say you ate too much cake?
Yes.
Oh.
No. Takes a cake. I mean, I could probably eat too much cake. I'm pretty fat.
He's not as fat as you think he is.
I wear baggy clothing for a reason.
Big Chief eat first. And second. Sometimes
I
only
leave
Big
scraps.
Chief eats.
I leave scraps.
Thank you, sir. May I have some more?
Yes, Kunta Kinte. Now we just played the race card. Oh, crap, how did we get out of that? Darn it. That puts you in a corner.
Yeah.
Now, a word from my sponsors. There are none because nobody wants to touch that.
We just lost our sponsors.
We did.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well done. We try to create as many videos and as much demonstration as we can for the players. That's really the key for 2014, is to try to give examples.
Right, but it does seem like a lot of content, but everything we do is necessary.
Right. And the videos we make, we're trying to do it in smaller sections. Not like this video, which is 7,000 hours.
I'll be surprised if anybody makes it this far.
Right, exactly. You get XP bonus. Probably
Simply
not.
put your name and type in the password.
And we won't check it.
Nope.
But we really want to try and I followed you all the way into that, and now I'm lost.
Content, videos is what you're at.
To try to give demonstrations of each ability, regardless of the system. Just a 30-second, 1 minute, whatever. Here's how this is played. Here's some common questions about this ability. We answer it, demonstrate it, and move on. And if there's other questions, great. And if there's a lot of questions, we add that to the video for the next round. But people don't read. People don't read anymore.
Nope.
So we do videos.
If it's not video, I don't look at it.
Right. So it's a digital age, and so we accommodate by doing what we're doing right now, video.
We try to appeal to the masses.
Or at least, I mean, in fairness, I can explain a demonstration in words that would take forever.
Well, one of the things about it is, too, it may take an entire paragraph to describe something that you could put in a
5
video.
seconds.
Put in a video that's 15 seconds long.
Right. It's so much easier to do in video. And with the digital age and how we can do things, why would you not use video? Why are these other LARP groups not using video? And we encourage our colonies to be like, if you have video, if you have a camera phone, if you just take it on your phone, and I will help you edit it if I have to.
Not during an event.
No, but just people want to see the action. These tavern talks, they're great and la-di-da, but
They're not.
They're
out
like,
there, yeah.
as opposed to an action video, yeah. Helmet cam video, yeah. That's what they want to see. That's what people want to see.
But here's an idea for colonies, realms, whatever. orange band somebody and have them be a cameraman.
Oh, that's a great idea. And a lot of people do it. Actually, a lot of realms do it. A lot of colonies do it.
Right.
Not so much in our system, but like in Europe and others, there's like camera guys who will dress their cameras up as mugs, and they'll like hold it up like they're drinking a beer, but it's actually a hidden camera taking the picture. So when you see the camera, it looks like a dwarf drinking a mug, but it's actually a camera. So I mean, we have a lot to learn.
You don't have to go that far.
We have a lot to learn about how to really keep the immersion, but incorporate all the technology, but keep the immersion. Either we have the technology or we have the immersion. And in the United States, we're like, oh, we're playing catch up from 20 years of
lawsuits.
European colonies doing this, and be like, yeah, it's no problem. We do it.
We just do it. There is no problem.
There is no rules. It's just we do it.
We do not have the laws, same laws that you have.
Just go ahead and...
You want to use real swords, use real swords. We don't.
Well, I don't think they go that far.
Maybe not.
But
if you want to hit him as hard as you possibly can with a foam stick, go ahead.
Go ahead, and we'll pummel you anyway.
Yes. Me and my 5,000 friends.
Yes, because we don't
have the rules.
In this rule mumbo jumbo, it's
laws.
ridiculous.
What is laws?
Yeah, you know, if you're out here playing...
What is this suing thing?
Yeah.
Why did we turn from French to German?
I don't have
Me no either.
But, you know, and we look to our brothers across and sisters across the pond. They do have it figured out.
Yeah, but...
I mean, they don't have the numbers, they don't have the players.
They also, from what I'm reading on some of the stuff, they don't understand. They're like, well, why are you doing it this way when it's so much easier to do this? There are certain laws, not only laws in the United States, but people in the U.S. are sue happy over anything.
Yeah. And that's really the main difference. You know, we have to abide by a different governing body.
You're always watching out for liability.
Right. And, you know, like, you know, legal insurance and regular insurance for live action role play, that's like all given. And they've had that figured out for many, many years across the pond. And as Americans, again, I'm not anti-American at all.
No, neither am I.
I bleed red and white and probably blue. But, yeah. But we really have to look at what people are doing right across the globe. Why, in the United States, where we have the greatest collection of players and wealth and prosperity, why are we so broken? Why?
Why? Because if you don't have insurance, if you don't have this, that, and the other thing, if somebody stubs their toe, they can sue the person that's running the system.
It goes further than that. You know, sure, we're more sue happy. Great. All right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But why don't we have the LARP games? We have more people. Why don't we have the LARP games?
The stigma, I think a big part of it is stigmata. A lot of the people over here in the U.S. see live action role play, and you know, what's stuck in their head is they, you know, role models, and they see these people, which was what got this whole thing started. Basically, was that movie. But they see that and they look, oh, those guys, oh, this is a funny movie, and these guys are dorks.
Right. They portray it wrong.
Or they see. I haven't seen it, but you say the Knights of Badassdom. And I've seen some of his comments on it. They portray the whole sport in a make fun of me, this is goofy, I'm a dork kind of light. Or in that persona. I mean, if you go online, and before any of our videos on there, I went online and I looked up LARP, and it was, you know, the kid going, lightning bolt, lightning bolt. It just, and I'm not saying that he was doing anything wrong, that's what he enjoys doing, and that's fine. But the way that it's portrayed and the way that it's taken by people is these are a bunch of geeks out in the woods, dressed funny, hitting each other with sticks. And you get a lot of that. Oh, these guys will never get be with a woman. These guys will never get married. These guys, are dorks and geeks and freaks and all this other stuff. And it's just totally wrong.
So we try to pay attention to what's happening across the pond, and we try to get a hold of, as many people as we can to see what works, what doesn't, and work together as a community. Because whether it's our game system or anybody else's,
we want to make sure that the sport's actually there for everybody's enjoyment.
Right.
We don't want people just simply going, oh, well, I went to this one and it turned me off of it because this was just goofy or something. People can learn from each other in the sport.
Right. And it, at the end of the day, we're not a big enough group. We're not millions and millions and millions of people where we could just say, okay, whatever, we'll figure it out. We have to be a tight-knit community, to make this thing really happen.
Across all different kinds of LARP.
Right, not just us. So, we try to work together that way to collaborate and not have to reinvent the wheel on a lot of stuff.
And that's definitely something to look forward to. But I think we've taken up enough time of our viewers. Actually, we've taken up way too much of their time.
We probably hit an all-time high for how much time a Tavern Talk has ever gone.
Yeah.
But because we have our own server and we can do that,
we will.
We will. But there was a lot to cover. I mean, really, we had a lot. Just to kind of recap, we had a lot of new stuff happening with 4.0 and beyond, or
4.5.
2014. We're just calling it the 2014 final edition because we're not going to go into the point whatever.
No.
Whatever. It's the 14 rulebook. That's what it is. And progressing into where we're now going to introduce the new rulebooks or game sets as we can. And those pages are up and progressing past Myths and Legends. So, wow. I mean, that alone was a lot. A lot. And talking about the other game sets and talking about the other folks and what we've experienced in our growth, I mean, we've gone through a lot. And we're probably one of the only organizations that actually report on what we went through.
And if you've made it this far, I applaud you. And it's almost over, so wrapping this up, we've covered a lot. There's a lot in this video, and there's still more to cover, believe it or not.
Subscribe to LarpCast.
And
there's so much more we're going to talk about in shorter segments.
Yeah, we'll definitely be doing this in shorter segments, and we'll be updating this as it goes along. Any news or anything that comes along in the LARP genre.
Yeah.
Then LarpCraft mainly, but if we find some other big news and maybe something else, we'll let you know about it. But that's it, folks. That's the whole enchilada for tonight.
I'm Artenen.
And I'm Ronan.
And we'll see you in the games. Have a good one.